Hi everyone, hope you're doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Now, right now, we should be mourning the death of the Chief of Defense Forces, Francis Ogolla. And that's the situation in this country. Of course, Ruto has announced 3 days of mourning. You know, the flag is going to be half-mast across the country. And there is one question Kenyans are asking as of now. Though it's something we should not be talking about, because we are mourning and people are asking about the replacement of the person we are already mourning here. But it's a question that many are asking and they have their own reasons. So the question has been, who will be the next CDF after Ogolla? Because now fingers are pointing to the latest appointment that Ruto did before the death of Francis Ogolla. And that happened in March 8th this year. This appointment he did. People are focusing on that, and the questions are coming out more. That who will be the next? We want to look deeper into all that, because we know David Tonje introduced reforms in the armed forces or disciplined forces, and there was some issue to do with the rotation. Such that when we have someone from Kenya Army, the next will be Kenya Navy, and from there will be Kenya Air Force, then you go back to Kenya Army. That is something he introduced to make sure that there is no more, competing interest in terms of who will be the next person in line. So with that one, of course, we are aware that before Francis Ogolla became the CDF, we had Samson Mwadede, who was from Kenya Navy. Then from there, through the rotation process, we had Robert Kibochi from Kenya Army. And of course, online after Kibochi, it was going to go to the Kenya Air Force. So that's how Francis Ogolla became the next CDF from Kenya Air Force. So from Kenya Air Force, you can guess where do we go to next, because it's now Kenya Navy, Kenya Army, Kenya Air Force. So you go back to Kenya Navy. Definitely, that's where the next appointment is going to come from. So we want to look into that and Francis Ogolla's history, but just to bring you the last moment that Francis Ogolla was with the KDF in the training, then we will go and check on the next person who's going to succeed him after this. Watch this shortly.
Yes, sir. Never am part of you. Yes. Thank you.
Now, I want to look into the late CDF Francis OGOLLA'S history and his replacement. But before we go deep into that, just a quick request for those who are watching and you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. To our returning subscribers, I must say thank you so much. And again, to all our viewers, please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much, and back to this discussion. Now, here is what the Star has shared as far as the history of Francis Ogolla is concerned. Who is Francis Ogolla? Named Chief of Defense Forces April 28, 2023, that means by William Ruto. He took over from General Robert Kibochi. Then prior to the appointment, he was Vice Chief of Defense Force. That means he was just in line because he was now the Vice and at the same time as the Commander of the Kenya Air Force. That was it. So he was appointed Commander Kenya Air Force on July 15th, 2018. That means by Uhuru Kenyatta. That one gave him now a chance in the picking of Kenya Air Force. So he was the top there. He trained as fighter pilot with the USAF and as an instructor pilot at Kenya Air Force. Then he also trained in the other field, including emergency intelligence, counter-terrorism, and accident investigation, like what has happened yesterday. You investigate. He is a graduate of École Militaire de Paris and National Defense College of Kenya. Joined Kenya Defense Forces April 24th, 1984. Sijui wangapi mlikuwa mmezaliwa. Commissioned as Second Lieutenant May 6, 1985 and posted to Kenya Air Force. Then died in a chopper crash in Marakwet East, April 18th, 2024. That is what was shared in the Star. So going by the appointment that Uhuru did in 2015, by making him the Commander Kenya Air Force, it gave him a chance in the line to be the next CDF. So with that one, that's how he got appointed as the Vice CDF. So there was no doubt that he was going to be the next in the line. Now, going by this, of course, if Ogolla would have served his term fully and go for retirement, definitely the next person in line would come from the Kenya Navy. So because he has not served to the end, of course, still the next person will come from Kenya Navy for his replacement following David Tonjo's reform of rotational appointment. Now to this level, we have left with the two people. Two people have a chance. And these two people with high chance, we have number one, the Lieutenant Charles Kahariri. Charles Kahariri is the current Vice Chief of Defense Forces, Vice CDF. He has been deputizing Francis Ogolla. So he's the Vice CDF now. And I think the commander of the Kenya Navy. Number two, another person who has a chance here is Lieutenant Jumbo Mutai. Jumbo Mutai is currently serving as the Vice Chancellor of the National Defense University. These are two people who have a chance, but one has a high chance against the other. Why? If you go back on the March 8th appointment that Ruto did this year, Charles Kahariri was appointed by Ruto as the Vice CDF. That's happened in March. So after he was appointed to that position, he's now the person with the highest chance, because now he's serving almost in the same capacity that Ogolla was serving before he became the CDF. He was vice CDF. And going by this will make his second appointment within a year. It will be the second appointment. Because he was made the vice CDF in March. Tunaongelea mambo ya last month. Simbali. Last month, March 8th. So it's there up. And the person was a highest chance. So, in your mind, we are 80% sure that Charles Kahariri will be the next CDF. Because he's coming from the Kenya Navy. He's the vice CDF. So he's just in that line. And you look on his age, definitely he has age on his side. According to these rules, they're saying if you are 62, then when retirement. Ukifikisha 62. But kabla hujafikisha 62, maybe you're 61 or 60, then you get appointed, then you serve na uende nyumbani for retirement. So definitely that is the person. And that's why Kenyans are questioning the issue of the appointment of Charles Kahariri, that name. His appointment just few months or days, then this happened, then now he has to take over. Was it something that ilikuwa mambo mengi tu watu wanauliza? Because if you check, the safest machine to travel in is a military machine. Hizo ndio zinaangaliwa zaidi, and of course all our dignitaries are traveling under the watch of the Kenya military. Zile machine Mudavadi, Ruto, Wetangula, Gachagua, and all top dignitaries are using, they are under their watch. Kama ni ndege ni hao ndio wako in charge. So anauliza, how comes it happens just in this way to the senior most in that army? Ndiye anahusika kwa ajali kama hii. Those are the questions. So I don't know your views, but let us put in the comment section to continue with this discussion. I know people are now asking the issue of tribe, that anatoka wapi natoka wapi. I leave that one to you. Tell us in the comment section if you want to have such kind of a discussion. Thank you, and see you in our next video.